Hey, how's it going? It's Jonathan Miller. Let's go for a drive. Alright, I'm gonna rev the car. Hold on one sec. Vroom, 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 vroom. If you're new here, please hit that subscribe button. If you like the video at the end, give me a thumbs up and hit the bell to be notified when new videos are uploaded. Today I'm standing with the Tesla Model 3. The first time I'm ever driving a Tesla or an electric car, and we're gonna find out, is the Tesla Model 3 the best daily driver? I'm here with the Model 3. How do you get in here? When you own the car, there's an app on your phone, so you basically just have your phone in your pocket and come up. If you don't have the app, Tesla gives you 2 of these little credit card keys. I'll show you a picture up on the screen, but there's actually a picture that shows you how to use it. So basically I take the card, I put it on the pillar, the car unlocks. You'll know that by obviously it beeped and the side mirrors came out. The way you open it is you push down on the handle and pull the door open. And to lock it, same thing, you put the card on the pillar, beep, window goes in. The Model 3, like the Teslas, has, this car is equipped with the Autopilot, so there's sensors all around the car. There's actually a sensor here, I'll show you guys a picture, in this pillar. So actually I saw that when guys, let's say want to wrap their car a different color, you have to be careful about wrapping over the sensors, because if you wrap over it, that sensor's not going to work. The car is finished in this silver color, really nice. There's another sensor here, where I guess the side indicator might be, that will look to the side of the car. This car, he equipped it with the optional sport wheels. They're finished painted silver. They're 19 inches. And as you can see, it's got a nice monoblock silver painted caliper there, so it should brake really well. What I like to do when I drive somebody else's car, someone loan me their personal car to drive, which is very nice of them, I like to bring it back with a full tank of gas. So I know it should be here somewhere. Oh no, there's no gas in this one, it's all electric. Charging the Model 3 is pretty simple. Just bring the charger close to the side of the driver's side rear taillight and a door opens to reveal the charging port. Click the button on the charger and insert it. It will lock in place. The Tesla logo will light up on the car, showing the charging level. Flashing green means it is charging. When finished, simply click the button on the charger again. It will unlock and you remove it. The door will shut automatically. Let's take a look at the front of the car, because the front of this electric car is much different to the front of a gasoline car. You do not need big openings to get cool air into the motor, into the radiator to cool it, because there's no motor, there's no gasoline motor. So basically this front is very smooth. There's just a little opening to maybe get some air to cool the battery in the front. These vents actually go through, so that's an aerodynamic aid. So this shape is all for aerodynamics. The smoothness, if you had a hole, it's going to create drag. So the smoother we are, the better it'll cut through air, better for fuel economy. These headlights are obviously unique to the Model 3. They've got an LED daytime running light. They're full LED units. So actually, I'm pretty good. I have this useless skill. I can tell a car at night by the headlights. I always tell people if I could get paid for that, I'd be a billionaire. So I actually do now know what the Model 3 headlights look like in the night coming towards me. So they definitely are a unique design there. And we'll take a picture, we'll show you the Tesla logo. If you guys didn't know what Tesla is, it's basically, there was a gentleman named Nikola Tesla. He lived around the era of Thomas Edison, who invented the light bulb. Tesla was a scientist, did a lot of experiments with electricity, very cutting edge, ahead of his time. So it's pretty smart that Mr. Musk called his electric car company Tesla. Let's take a look at the frunk, or the front trunk. There is a button on the front center screen that you press to open the frunk. We open it, and it's pretty small in here. I'm not gonna lie. I thought it would be much bigger because this is a rear-wheel drive Model 3. It's not the dual motor car, so there shouldn't be motors up in the front here. But I guess they've designed it all the same, so they don't have to retrofit trunks and what have you. But it's pretty small. Maybe a small, gym duffel bag you could fit in there. The rear trunk is much bigger. It's very spacious. So that's the frunk. Let's take a look in the rear trunk. Also opens up with a button on the center screen. I'm a little surprised that it's not automatic open and close. Everything else is automatic on the car, but it opens. And very interesting design feature here. It opens up all the way up this pillar. I guess it makes it easier to get stuff in and out of. I haven't seen that on a car before. So look at this trunk. I mean, usually the trunk will end here. This one goes all the way up into this pillar. It opens up. It does not have any buttons to close it, obviously. It is quite cavernous. We'll take it. I'll bring you guys if you want to take a look. And it's pretty big. You definitely fit a pair of golf clubs in there. So it's somewhat practical. And then we'll close it, regular trunk, and it's closed. Okay. We'll take a better look on the inside, but basically the whole panel is glass. The entire roof is glass. It's tinted so that it's not super bright inside. There aren't any shades that you can pull over, but we'll take a better look. It's pretty impressive to look at it from the inside. Here we are in the Model 3 interior. It's definitely unlike any car I've ever been into. Basically, all we have is a steering wheel. There's only 2 little buttons on the steering wheel, and we have this 15-inch touchscreen. It's basically an iPad glued onto your dashboard. It does not move. It doesn't go back into the dash or anything. Everything is controlled on this touchscreen. It's obviously all touch. Everything is on here. Heated seats, climate, navigation, any settings you want, open and closing doors. Everything is on this touchpad. So if you do not like touchpads or iPads, iPhones, etc., do not get one of these cars. Another interesting feature is this is the only vent for the air. There is a really neat, we'll get a closer shot. I don't know if you can see this, but you can actually, by touching it, control where the air flows, and that'll go on either side. It's pretty, I mean, this is like next level stuff. It's pretty crazy how that works. So I'm being vain. I want to look good on camera, so I pulled down the sun visor, and I'm like, where's the mirror? Usually it's a slide. It's magnetic. It's like a 2-piece magnetic fold. It's kind of cheap. I mean, it works, but when the magnet hits, the light switches off. I guess it's cheap, but it works. The car actually has a lot of storage. We've got 2 cup holders here. We have this panel. It goes pretty deep, and then this actually pulls up, so there's even more storage. This place, basically, it's nice. You can put your phone there. It doesn't have wireless charging, although the owner told me that there is a aftermarket piece that you can buy that you can put there to do if you have a wireless charging phone. And the glove box is also pretty big, so there's quite a lot of storage. Now, if you want to go into the glove box, you actually have to go into the car settings, and there's a glove box button, which is kind of annoying. And that opens the glove box. Here's your little Tesla key card, and to start the car, you basically has to touch the spot behind the cup holders. It will ask you to put it there. Once the car is turned on, you can store that wherever you want. So to open the door, there's no door handle. It's a little push button. push it, window goes down a little, and the door opens. My first drive in a electric car, and lucky enough to be in a Tesla Model 3. It's on. It's making no noise. The only noise I can hear is the air blowing through the vent. My little stalk. Put it in drive. You can see it there. Here's my little car. And let's go. What you see here, these two lines, that means that the 12 sensors that come with the optional autopilot are working. You can see the car in front of me is lit up there. This is obviously my speed, the speed limit, and you can set a speed limit that the car won't go over when you're in autopilot. 122 miles is the range that we have left. This is the long range model. Whoa. And if you're not used to an electric car, when you take your foot off the gas, it stops. That's part of the way that it saves energy. It stores energy from the braking system. So I take my foot off the gas, I'm not touching the brake, and it almost stops me. It's a crazy feeling. Electric car, electric motors, everybody talks about it, instant torque. So you put your foot on the gas and you go. There's no spooling up, there's no revving. It's just power there all the time. The owner has kindly agreed to come with us, do a little driving interview. Basically, he's going to teach me how to use the car. I'm going to drive. He's going to show me all the little features on the screen about the car. Then we're going to hop on the highway and we're going to show autopilot, because I think that's one of the main features of this car. I think you guys will be interested in that. So this is Chan. Thanks for coming with. And
thanks for having me.
Yeah, man. So let's show me a couple. You were showing me that basically when in this picture, when we have the lines here, that means that autopilot can be engaged.
That's correct. So the autopilot uses lines on the road to navigate, to stay within the lines. It doesn't use any motion sensing from like the curbs or other cars. It's just trying to stay within the lines. So if you don't see the lines, you can't engage the steering autopilot.
You can still do the speed, like a cruise control? You can still
do the cruise control, like speed autopilot, where it'll limit to a certain speed, and obviously use the motion sensing for the car in front to get within a certain range, but it doesn't handle the steering wheel on its own. So as an example here, you can see the two lines on both sides of the car. So this is where you could technically engage the autopilot to take control of the steering wheel. One of the features that they've really improved is actually the navigation.
Right onto East Hector Street.
Originally, when it first came out, the navigation was on the right side.
Okay.
So
now
as you're driving, the peripheral only sees this side, like the half of this display, and so it's really hard to see and get direction on the turns. But they moved it to this side, gave more direction as far as what to expect, and so that's actually been a good improvement.
And you said one of the main features of Tesla, which a lot of cars don't have, is this car is basically a computer. So most of the things are software related. So it gives you free over-the-air software updates. So basically the car he has a program like 3 o'clock in the morning. If there's an update, the car via the air will do a software update, which is pretty neat.
That's exactly right. If you actually touch on this, looks like a stopwatch display, you can actually see the software will be installed, and you can schedule it for 2:50 a.m.
It's also telling us it will take 45 minutes to download.
Exactly, and install. So obviously, you don't want it to schedule any driving during that time period. Otherwise, you won't be able to use the car.
And one of the other new features, we'll see it on the autopilot, is when you're in navigation and you put in a destination. There's a new beta software version which we tried before. It should actually turn off the exit that you're going to. We tried it earlier. It missed the first exit, but it worked on the second exit.
Right, that's a good feature for when you're doing a long commute, and you have it on autopilot. It reminds you and will actually take the car off the highway for you instead of you missing the exit. So I think that's a good step in the right direction as far as autopilot.
Right.
And truly being autonomous.
So my main question I'm asking today is the Model 3 the best daily driver? So basically, tell us what car you were coming from, and then what made you pick the Model 3 over, any other car you were looking at?
Well, I came from 2006 BMW M3. So the two-door, it was just a great car to drive. The handling was awesome. Power was great. Just had a blast enjoying the drive for that car. I have to admit I am a big fan of electric vehicles. I think they're the wave of the future. And at the time when I put my deposit down for the Tesla, I had about an hour commute, 60-mile commute one way. And back in the day, I was commuting back and forth 120 miles every day, and gas prices were ridiculous
right.
at the time. And so I was really wanting the electric vehicle. My commute has now changed. I now work from home. But I still wanted that electric vehicle. And like I said, I think it's the wave of the future. I also really, really appreciate the updates, the software updates, because like you said, it's basically a computer, and it can make a lot of changes to software and enhance features just by pushing software down. And I think I just love that concept.
Feet, turn left onto
I also hope that we can get to autonomous vehicles at some point, and I think Tesla is really pushing to do that. So those are the primary reasons, originally for commute, gas savings, and then for the technology features and the electric
now turn left
electric
onto
vehicle.
Harry Street.
Right. And you were lucky enough, I think it ends next week, but there was a tax rebate on electric cars. So I believe it was about $7,500 on the Model 3. So that's a huge
right
savings on this car. I
Street.
think, this car is, with the savings, is low 50s, something like that.
So it depends on what options you get with the car.
Now turn
I think
left onto
base,
Fayette Street.
Which I don't. Tesla claims base would be $35,000.
Right.
But that's with the non-long distance range battery, which is approximately 200 miles in range. That option actually isn't even available for production, as far as I understand. So you have to get the extended range battery. So that bumps it up to at least $45,000. And then all the other features around autopilots and interior options, wheel options, color options will add up.
Right.
But the $7,500 does help quite a bit. It is a federal tax rebate for electric vehicles, and Tesla, and it's by manufacturer, and I believe it's around 200,000 vehicles sold. The first 200,000 electric vehicles sold, that it's eligible. And after that year, when they sell that amount of vehicles, that manufacturer is not eligible for any car purchased from that manufacturer is not eligible for that rebate. And so Tesla, because of the Model 3, has reached that target, and so this year is the last year of eligibility for that federal tax credit. So
it's good for Tesla, and it's good for the consumer, because the more cars they make, the better they'll make them, the build quality will be a lot better, et cetera, except
Exactly.
you just lose that discount.
Exactly. It just shows how far Tesla has come.
Right.
Because they've produced that many or sold that many vehicles. And like you said, I think from an electric vehicle standpoint, it's really going to push it forward. Now that they'll have the experience, they'll have more on the street, more demand for charging stations. That'll help the entire electric vehicle industry as a whole.
Right. And the Model 3, you can stop at one of the Tesla supercharging stations, which will actually come up on the nav. But in the Model 3, you do have to pay for it. It's not a free option.
So it's for the Model 3, it is a pay. You have to pay service right now, and basically, you're paying for the electricity. Okay, so the amount that you get charged for the supercharging is actually based regionally.
Okay.
So whatever the local places are paying for electricity, and that varies by state and location, mostly by state, the different rates. And so you're basically paying the difference in rates.
Turn left to take the Interstate 76
So for
west
now, supercharging is actually very affordable.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot less. Like as an example, I can get over 80% electronic battery charge for my vehicle
Now take the
in
Interstate
about $12,
76 west
roughly
on the
$12.
left.
And how long
That's
does
a
that
300-mile range.
take to charge?
That takes a little over 30 minutes. I think they claim 20-minute charge to get to your next destination, but it's probably going to take a little bit longer than that. I would leave 30 minutes, but that usually gets you enough time to get out, stretch, use the bathroom, get something to eat,
Right.
and then come back. So most of the supercharging stations are conveniently located by some convenient location
Right.
to get something to eat, use the restroom.
But it is still something you have to consider. You have to consider the time it takes to charge the car in your trip. It's not like a gas station where it takes a couple minutes to fill the car with gas. So it is a little bit of consideration. It's not awful, but
Yeah, no, I agree. Particularly for long trips, for really long trips, if you have to supercharge twice, I mean that's a big consideration because you're sitting, waiting 30 minutes, then coming back, and doing it again. It's an hour extended on a pretty long trip already.
right.
Instead of just like you said, quick fill up, quick bathroom break, and then you're on the road again.
So I'll just quickly talk about my driving impressions so far. The car is made out of a mix of aluminum and steel. The battery is very low, so you have that low center of gravity. It's very smooth. Obviously the power delivery is very smooth. The suspension's nice. It feels pretty solid. I went around that little turn on the on-ramp. It felt connected there. So I mean, so far I don't have any gripes. It doesn't not handle nicely. It's not like a, one of these, if you want to say a Prius or like a Chevy Volt, which you don't think of as a handling car. This car is pretty sporty. So it's I enjoy it, and obviously you enjoy driving it.
Oh yeah, I think I enjoy the drive for the acceleration. I think it handles very well. It's got a very low center of gravity because of the battery, the big battery on the bottom. So, but it's slightly different than the car I was coming from,
right.
the BMW M3, which I thought just did a better job hugging the road and taking turns.
Right.
The Tesla is actually a lot heavier than the BMW.
So like I said, it has the regenerative, I can't even say the word, I'm so bad at pronouncing it. The brake, basically when you brake, the car uses that energy to give power to the battery to charge it again. So you take your foot off the gas and the car slows down. So I haven't been driving it that long, but you get used to it pretty quickly. And as we can see here, we've got the lanes and we can see all the cars around us. So we would be a prime spot right now to use the Autopilot. Why don't we try it? We're in traffic.
Yep.
So what do I do?
So use the shifter on the right side.
Okay.
Pull it down twice to engage the controls on the steering wheel. Once would have just done the speed control.
Okay, so now I take my hands off the wheel and off the pedals. And we're not going to crash.
Yeah.
Alright, so this is a first. The car is driving me. It's a little... You told me when the steering wheel is blue, it means that it has the auto steer on.
Exactly. So we're now coming close to a slight bend in the road, and you should see it Like as you can see, the lines that were gray turned blue, and that's what the car is using to help make sure it stays within the lane. And it senses the shift in the lines.
In 1 mile, take exit 327.
So you can see that it's
328 BA on the right onto US
taking that slight
422
bend.
toward Pottstown.
And you said
Then
every
take
once in a
US
while it will warn you
422
just
west
to
right on the left.
put your hands on the wheel to give it a little touch, because obviously you don't want people thinking that it's an autonomous vehicle and it can drive everywhere by itself and you can sit here and eat and talk on the phone and check emails. That you don't want to do that.
Right.
You still have to be in control and make sure your hands are near the steering wheel.
Exactly.
And you said that when you step on the brake, that will disengage everything.
That's correct. Once you hit the brake, it'll disengage. So as you can see from the controls and the speed, we're actually.
Whoop.
Oop.
That wasn't me.
Yeah. So the one of the issues that it has, it could, because it uses the lines, and when one of the lines are gone, it has to recalibrate. So you can see that it started drifting right as the right lines started going. So do you want to take this exit and we can?
So I need to turn it by myself.
Yeah. Yep, just hit the brake.
Oh, so that just accelerated by
Now take
itself.
exit
I guess it thought we were
327,
going straight
328
and it was
BA on the
open.
right.
So you,
Right.
you do have to be a little careful with the Autopilot. It's not 100% yet.
Yeah, it's not truly autonomous yet.
This is the long range battery. So I think Tesla says 0 to 60 in 5.6, but I believe it's probably a little bit quicker than that. They just came out with the Performance Model 3, which is like a 3-second car.
1,000 feet.
It's
Turn
pretty
left
insane
onto
to
Wall
spend,
Boulevard.
let's say, 60 grand on a car that does 0 to 60 in 3 seconds.
Yep.
As you were saying, a lot of it's software related. So in theory, they could give us a software update and we can make this car pretty quick as well. We obviously won't have the 4-wheel drive,
Right.
the dual motors. This car has a single rear motor, but we could probably still add a bunch of power to this.
Exactly. Hopefully Tesla allows
In 500 feet,
existing
turn left onto North
consumers
Gulf
to
Road.
upgrade their car to a performance mode.
Right.
It really could be a software download. I don't know. I believe they use a standard electric motor, but yeah, you couldn't get the additional motor to make it all-wheel drive. But the standard one can get you a certain performance. Maybe not to 3 seconds.
Right. Maybe 4 seconds.
Maybe to 4.
So far, I'm pretty impressed with the driving characteristics of the car. It's very flat through turns. It's comfortable. I think maybe I'll just warn you, when we got on this on-ramp, I'll put my foot down and see what this feels like to accelerate, but don't look at my speed. You go quicker than you think you're going.
Yeah, it does accelerate pretty fast. You don't feel it as much. At least I don't think you feel it as much. But you pass cars pretty quickly.
Alright, here we go.
Oh,
That was a
demonstrate the handling.
Yeah. The Jonathan Miller Autopilot. It's just different to drive a car that's not making any noise. It's not giving you, you don't know how much the engine's revving by the sound, so it's a different feeling, but it's pretty neat. I'm really impressed with the handling. It's very, very flat.
Yeah. I think that was intentional with the batteries at the bottom of the car to keep it pretty low to the ground.
Right. So do you want to just show us a couple of the things we could do on the screen here? Obviously right now we have navigation system.
All of the controls, so I think of this as a big iPad, if you think about it. And all the controls are on the bottom, the menu options. So this first menu option to the far left, which looks like the car, gives you all the basic controls of the car. between the quick controls around the lights.
Like adjusting your mirrors.
You can adjust your mirrors
And I actually think you adjust them on the steering wheel, correct?
Exactly. So
Right.
if you wanted to adjust the mirrors, you touch the mirror button. It's on the left one, and you use the wheel knob to control whether it goes up or down,
Oh, that's pretty cool.
or left or right.
Yeah.
And you can save those settings.
Okay.
And you can turn on, and if you want to adjust the right one, just touch the right one
Right.
with the settings. Light options. You can have the fog lights on permanent all the time, or change your headlight options to turn on or off, or I have it always on auto, so light sensing,
Right.
which makes it really easy. High beams, steering wheel lights, etc. Lock control. The Tesla, your phone is your key. You also have physical key cards as part of it, and you can register or deregister devices here to lock and unlock. Plus the child and the window locks
Right.
here as well. Display options, brightness. Driving options, which is really cool. You can change the feel of the drive by either changing the acceleration type from chill, which is more relaxed acceleration, or standard, which is pretty aggressive.
Right.
This model doesn't have the ludicrous mode, unfortunately.
Right.
Hopefully that'll come out. But yeah, steering controls, and then you can also control the regenerative braking, whether it's standard or low, which it doesn't decelerate as much. This part always changes quite a bit, which is the Autopilot. I think that's where they've been pushing out the most releases or feature enhancements.
Mm-hmm.
We just got the Navigate on Autopilot beta, which maybe we can go through in a little bit. The two big things there are recommendations as far as lane switches on highways, and the ability to the car will take you on the off ramp automatically, as long as you have the navigation and destination programmed in.
Okay.
So if it knows which exit to take off the highway, it'll do that. It'll do that for you. Some other speed limit warnings, lane departure, forward collision warnings, things like that. That's pretty standard in most of the modern cars. Navigation options, safety and security, etc. But one part about the Model 3 that always cracks me up is there's no option to open the glove compartment.
Right.
There's no button. There's literally no button here, and this is the only option, to push the button here and to open up the glove compartment. The next menu option is music, and you have a few options as far as music. You can do standard radio, streaming, obviously your phone, Bluetooth, and then they have Tune In, which gives you more of a podcasts and internet radio.
And you said there's no option for a Sirius satellite radio or anything like that.
Yeah, no options around that right now. I'm sure as they push more releases, they'll give you more audio options. When I first picked up the car, that was actually something the delivery representative mentioned and said, yeah, right now there's only Slacker for streaming and tune in for the internet radio. But he said that there's other options coming, which makes sense.
Right.
Which makes sense. But this little menu here gives you a few other options. One, you have the ability to actually sync your calendar now. So if you have destinations that you want to put in that you're going to, you can actually click on them to get to them in the calendar. You can pull up the rear view camera just to see what's going on.
Even while you're driving.
Even while you're driving.
That's pretty neat.
Yeah. You can go directly to the charging options. You can see the battery life and set your limits and the last supercharging that was done.
Right.
Gives you an energy chart, so your average consumption over time. You can obviously change the display to see the different ranges, and you can change it from the instant range to the average range. Different options to see your consumption. And then you can make calls, standard calls with your Bluetooth. So you can see your recent phone calls and your contacts. It obviously gives you the dialer. It also gives you a web browser, which I find kind of interesting.
We're trying to get my website. It worked earlier, but it doesn't want to reload. Thanks, Tesla.
It should
fail.
Yeah.
Hashtag fail.
Yeah.
Oh, you made me look bad.
Should I favorite that website?
Yeah. Oh, it worked earlier when I tried it. And I have to say, the screen is really responsive. It's quick and it takes commands really well. Obviously, you think the same thing?
Oh, absolutely.
It's like an iPhone. It's the same kind of thing.
It's
I just think the screen is Samsung screen, which I think iPhones are also a Samsung screen.
Oh.
So it works well.
Right. So I don't know why the browser is not working right now. Maybe it's a safety feature.
Yeah, because it did work when I was
Stopped. We'll have to test that out. And then you have your standard controls around seat warmers, both driver side and passenger side. You do also have the options to, which I thought was really cool, to have the seat warmer controls in the back
Yeah, that's cool.
for all 3 seats. And the air options.
Right.
And the ability to change the flow. So I think this visual actually changed recently.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't quite have the air flowing, so that's kind of cool. And then the defog front and rear, and then the audio controls to adjust the volume.
When I was playing with this earlier, I don't want to show your VIN and everything, but these are what they call Easter eggs.
Yep.
Let's get your final impressions of the car. Is there something that's missing that you would want to see? Is the range good for you? Stuff like that.
So I think the range is plenty. 300 is far enough to get wherever I need to go. We do quite a bit of driving up and down major cities.
Mm-hmm.
So roughly, let's just say 250 to 100 miles one way. So there's easily enough superchargers to get there, but like we talked about earlier, you definitely gotta leave enough time
Right.
to know that you're gonna need that supercharging. So range wise, I'm really happy. Driving wise, I'm really happy. Just the handling, and I enjoy the drive. I would like to see more radio options, like we talked about.
Okay.
I am hopeful that the Autopilot progresses further as far as being more and closer to autonomous.
Right.
I still think we're a few years away from truly being autonomous, but I like the Tesla approach. It's putting out little feature, another feature, to get you closer there, in a way that they know it's going to work, instead of putting out some software update that may put you at risk. Because
Right.
I trust the Autopilot when I'm using it, the auto steer.
Yeah,
I
Chan
trust
was
it.
saying to me, he's like, some people are scared to use the autopilot, and when he took me for a ride earlier, I have to say I was a little nervous. I've never been in a car that drives itself, so I guess it's something you have to get used to and gain that confidence.
Yeah. So yeah, like I said, I have confidence in it, and I will continue to have confidence in it, with all the features that they release, because it feels like they're testing it, and they're not putting anything out there that's really buggy. It is a lot of software, and the nature of software could have some bugs So just be aware of that. You know, this is basically a big computer on wheels,
Right.
and so that's what you gotta have that expectation of for a Tesla. So overall very pleased,
happy. Yeah.
very pleased. Would do it again. Would also consider getting another one.
Yeah.
Yeah, for the wife.
So my final thoughts on, is the Tesla Model 3 the best daily driver? I think it's really good. If you have a commute where there's traffic or on the highway, the Autopilot is probably an unbelievable thing to use. The range is really good. Obviously you don't want to have hours and hours of commute, but for most people, I think they say most people travel, I don't know, 50 to 100 miles a day. It's plenty of range. A lot of workplaces have charging stations for electric cars, and most people with the Tesla obviously have a charger at home. So I don't think that is a big deal. For me around here, I'd probably want to opt for the dual motor. Not even for the speed, just for the all-wheel drive. Probably throw snow tires on here, make it more of a all-season vehicle. I like how it drives. It's pretty quick. You just have to get used to it being quiet. The one weird thing that happened is I'll tell you later when I get out the car, but when Chan drove me earlier, and I've heard this from other people, I was a little motion sick. I got out the car and I was like, wow, why don't I feel that fantastic? And my other friend was saying maybe it's because when you're in the Autopilot, it's at a constant speed and you're just moving, up and down, left to right, so maybe that contributes to it. I don't know, but I have heard the same thing. Even Chris Harris for Top Gear, when he drove the P100D, said the same thing, that he felt motion sick. It doesn't, driving it, it's not bouncy or it doesn't sway. Like I said, it's very stiff side to side. So I'll let you know a little bit later in the afterthoughts maybe how I feel once I get out of the car driving. But all in all, I think it's priced really well. I know people talk about build quality. It looks pretty decent to me. Obviously getting used to everything in the screen here, in the screen in the middle. I keep looking for the gauges here, but obviously they're not there. So it's just getting used to that. But all in all, I think they've done a good job. They're definitely on the right path. And I think that Tesla has paved the way for the automotive community and the other manufacturers. They're going to have a lot of catching up to do to get up with these guys, especially with the cult following that Tesla has, like Apple has. They've cornered the market there really well, so I think they've done a great job with that.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely cult following.
Yeah, definitely. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video, the Tesla Model 3. I really appreciate Chan allowing me to drive his car, coming with for an interview. I think it's great to have a perspective of the owner driving the car. Obviously, he puts a lot more miles on the car than I have, so it's good to get that perspective as well. So I really appreciate it.
No problem at all.
And if you guys are new here, please hit that subscribe button. If you like the video, give us a thumbs up and hit the bell to be notified when new videos are updated. I just want to wish everybody happy holidays, happy new year. We'll have another couple of videos coming to you, but we'll see you in 2019. Everyone drive safe, be well, and take care. Hey, so here's my little afterthought. I just got out of the Model 3 into my GTI, and I am a little motion sick. I'm not like sick like I'm gonna vomit or anything, but I am like a little spinny and lightheaded. It's so weird. I would love like an engineer or a doctor to explain what is going on, why people feel like that after they get out of these cars. It's I'm definitely feeling it.